The police dog began barking the moment she stepped off the bus. Not an angry bark, not a warning bark, but a desperate broken sound, the kind that felt like it came from deep inside the animal's chest, like it was begging the world to listen. People on the sidewalk turned. The pregnant woman froze mid-step, one hand on her stomach, her eyes wide with confusion and fear. The officer holding the leash tightened his grip, embarrassed at first, then uneasy. In 5 years on patrol, his canine partner had never acted like this. Never. And within minutes, when the truth was finally uncovered, it would already be too late. Before the story continues, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet miracles that can change a life forever, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps these stories reach more hearts. Officer Daniel Reeves had learned to trust instincts, his own and his dog's. Rex, a German shepherd with sharp eyes and a scar across his muzzle from a past rescue, was calm to the point of being almost gentle. Children petted him, elderly women smiled at him, criminals feared him. But Rex did not panic without reason. That afternoon was supposed to be routine. A quiet transport hub, a few random checks, nothing more. Daniel was thinking about dinner, about the unpaid bills waiting on his kitchen table, about the empty side of his bed since his wife had left 2 years earlier. He was tired in a way sleep didn't fix. Then the bus arrived. The doors opened with a hiss. Passengers stepped down one by one, and when the pregnant woman appeared, Rex stiffened instantly. His ears rose, his body went rigid, then he started barking. Not aggressively but frantically, circling, pulling at the leash, whining between sharp cries. His paws scraped the pavement as he tried to reach her. The woman, no older than 25, looked terrified. Her clothes were clean but worn. Her face was pale, eyes shadowed as if she hadn't slept in days. One hand clutched a small bag, the other rested protectively over her swollen belly. People stared. Daniel tried to calm Rex, murmuring commands, but the dog refused to settle. He moved in front of the woman instinctively, placing himself between her and the dog. She began to shake. "I didn't do anything," she whispered, barely audible. Daniel could hear fear, not guilt. Rex wasn't trained to detect pregnancy. He wasn't trained to react to ordinary civilians like this. Something was wrong, deeply wrong. Daniel asked her to sit on the nearby bench. She obeyed slowly, breathing shallowly, as if each breath hurt. Rex continued to whine and paw the air, staring at her stomach with wide, urgent eyes. That was when Daniel noticed something that made his own heart skip. Her skin was grayish, damp with sweat despite the cold air. A dark stain was spreading slowly across the front of her dress. Blood. Not a small spot. A frightening amount. Daniel's training kicked in instantly. He called for medical support, his voice suddenly sharp and loud. He knelt in front of her, keeping his movements slow. She looked down and finally saw the blood. Her face crumpled. "I thought it was just pain from walking," she murmured. "I didn't want to bother anyone. I don't have insurance. I didn't think I mattered." Those words hit Daniel harder than any scream. She was alone, afraid, trying to survive quietly. Rex let out a low, broken whine and pressed his head gently against her knee, as if apologizing for barking too late. Daniel applied pressure, speaking calmly, telling her help was coming. But inside, fear tightened around his chest. She told him her name was Lily. She had moved to the city to escape an abusive relationship. The baby's father didn't know where she was. She worked part-time cleaning offices at night. She took buses everywhere. She never complained. That morning, she had felt a sharp pain but ignored it. She needed to get to work training for a new job interview. She couldn't afford to miss opportunities. Because when you are poor and alone, you don't get sick days. Rex had smelled the internal bleeding before any human could see it. Minutes felt like hours. Lily's hands trembled as she clutched Daniel's sleeve. Her eyes filled with tears. "I just want my baby to live," she whispered. "I don't care what happens to me." Daniel swallowed hard. He promised her that she was not invisible, that she mattered. But deep down, dread grew. The ambulance arrived at last, lights flashing, siren cutting through the crowd. Paramedics rushed her onto a stretcher. Rex tried to follow, barking again, straining against the leash as if refusing to let fate take her without a fight. Daniel climbed into the ambulance with her, breaking protocol without thinking. At the hospital, doctors moved fast. The words placental abruption were spoken in tense voices, severe internal bleeding, the baby in distress. Daniel stood in the hallway, Rex sitting rigidly beside him, eyes fixed on the operating room doors. For the first time in his career, Daniel prayed. Not as a police officer, not as a man hardened by years of tragedy, but as a broken human being. Minutes dragged. Then a doctor emerged. His expression said everything before he spoke. The baby had not survived. They had saved Lily's life. Barely. The truth Rex had sensed had come too late to save the child. Daniel felt like the floor vanished beneath him. He had seen death before, but this felt different. A life that never even had the chance to begin. Rex lowered his head and let out a soft, aching sound that seemed almost human. When Lily woke later that night, Daniel was still there. She stared at the ceiling, her face empty, hollow. He told her gently. Tears slid silently down her temples, soaking into the pillow. I talked to him every night, she whispered. I told him about the world. I promised him it would be better than my past. Daniel had no words. Rex rested his head beside her hand. She placed her fingers in his fur and wept without sound. Days passed. Daniel couldn't forget her. He visited again. And again. He learned that Lily had no family in the city. No one came to see her. No balloons, no flowers, just silence. Something in Daniel broke open. He had lost his marriage because he had closed himself off emotionally after years of police work. He had built walls so high nothing could get in. But Lily's quiet grief slipped through every crack. He helped her apply for assistance programs. He connected her with a shelter and therapy services. He used his own time, his own money, not because he was a hero, but because Rex had reminded him what it meant to care. Weeks later, Lily stood outside the hospital for the first time since the tragedy. The world looked strange, like she didn't belong in it anymore. Daniel and Rex were waiting. She smiled faintly for the first time. You never left, she said. Daniel realized something powerful. The dog had not only tried to save a baby, he had saved two broken souls, Lily and Daniel. Months passed. Lily started training as a nurse's assistant. She said she wanted to help others the way she had been helped. Daniel found himself laughing again, talking again, feeling human again. One afternoon, Lily visited the station with homemade cookies. She knelt and hugged Rex tightly. If it wasn't for you, she whispered, I wouldn't be alive. Rex wagged his tail slowly, pressing his forehead to her chest. Daniel watched, eyes burning. Some tragedies cannot be undone. Some losses leave scars forever. But even when it is too late to change the past, it is never too late to change a future. Before this story ends, please comment I believe in second chances if this story touched your heart. And if this story moved you, if it made you feel something real, please like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us bring more stories of hope to those who need them most. Because sometimes, a desperate bark in a crowded street is not just a warning. It is a reminder that every life matters, even when the world looks away.